Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Greg Elsing here with me tonight, and also Josh Dutton. We have Josh Dutton on with us. He's got limited pro stock out of the Delavan Darien area called Time for One More, and he's been burning up the trail down southwest. So we have him on tonight. See how you doing, Josh?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Busy.
So you went down to Osceola there, and tell us about the weekend before, though. Where were you? You were in Mound City the weekend before?
So the last 2 years we wanted to start out pulling the Silver Series hooks because Badger State didn't have a lot of hooks in June, and last year we went down to Nashville, his first Silver Series hook, and blew a turbo. Second night. And so that didn't work out so well for us last year. So life goes on. We start Badger State this year, and first up for Badger State, blew a turbo on that one. And I'm like, well, looks like I'm going to try to run the Silver Series just to get her fixed up, so see what she'll do. And we're not doing so bad in points, but we could be better, but could be worse. So we're going to keep running it, see what we can do, and go from there.
Yeah. So, you said you were in the Mound City there, and there you thought there was like 15, 20 tractors there.
Yep.
How'd you do there?
Mound City, the first night, what'd I end up in? Third. And then so Saturday night, we got weighed in, and everybody's lined up. The limited pros or the light pros are ahead of us. There were 5 of them, and then we were second class. And I swear to God, it started raining, and I thought it'd never quit. Yeah. And it got rained out, and we got the tractor loaded up, and we're like, oh, it's 7 o'clock. We're 8.5 hours away from home. What do you want to do? And I'm talking to my wife, and she goes, well, let's try to get a little closer. So I jump in the semi, everything's loaded up, we're ready to leave. Semi stuck. So now we got to get pulled out. And not only our semi was stuck, everybody had to get pulled out of there. And it was only a quarter inch that it rained, but it's just in a hole that's what it is this year,
Yep.
So I drove out the next weekend, Osceola, and as soon as I got into Iowa, it rained all the way across 80. Rained, and I'm thinking, what am I doing this for? And I got the Osceola 1:30, 2 o'clock. Go check the track out. There's water standing everywhere. And Jesse Giza does a great job. Great job out there, and he scraped it. He put 3 or 4. Yeah, Ryan does a very good job shooting videos. So anyway,
you were first hook?
No, I was. Well, yeah, they reset the sled, so I was first hook, and I mean, it was at the weirdest clay I've ever seen. You could pick a ball of it up, it wouldn't stick to your hand, and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. And my wife, Lynn, couldn't go that weekend, so I'm by myself down there. And Mike Etner and I'm drawing his blank but Shag Nasty, those guys the weekend before in Mound City, I asked them if they'd help me, and those guys helped me, and we pulled a couple 100 pounds off the front after the first hook, and the first tractor went and they reset the sled, and I pulled a winter gear that I never use it, and I'm like, it worked out.
Yeah.
And the worst part of that is watching everybody the 15 come behind you, and you knew the track didn't go away because it was Dean Hollick. He was a foot behind me, and he was second or third to last. So I was happy with that. So,
Yep. Looked like a good track.
yeah, it bit, and it almost killed me.
But Josh Dutton.
So,
Yeah, they hooked up right away.
yeah.
Where was this one at?
This was the second night, wasn't it, Ryan?
What,
Yeah,
private
that was-
drive?
Yeah, this was the second night.
Lot dryer.
So you must-
Can't believe it.
So they opened the track up, and Jesse did a great job down there. You don't know what to expect. And the second night, I was in 4 gears higher than I was the night before, and I was 400 and almost 500 pounds lighter off the front end. And and when I got done, Ryan goes, "You were in the wrong spot," and I'm like,
He was way too far over this way. He needed to be more centered.
Yeah, and we were the first class, and it opened up, and you can all you can do is lay the best pass you can lay down at that time, and at that time
Right.
I was second, and I think I ended up 7th, right, Ryan?
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Being the first class, and it was dry on top, and it wasn't until the end of the class where the moisture really started to come up.
Yep.
Isn't that something,
That looked like a
Josh,
good track. Go ahead,
Isn't
John.
that something how you were way, you're way out of your realm, out of your comfort zone than you normally are. And you make big wholesale changes like that, and it really worked out.
No, well, it is. It's hard, especially when you're by yourself, and you're
Unfamiliar
you gotta
track.
second guess yourself all the time, and there's no slouches down there either. You got Cox and Chad Russell, and there's so many good guys down there, and the neatest part about pulling with Badger State, there's so many good people at Badger State, and then you can travel 5.5, 8 hours and get with people that are nice guys. What's kind of nice is we were first class, and they got that over with. Now we'll just stand around, drink beer, and bullshit, and everybody gets along. Because one night you could be on top, one night you're on bottom.
That's
the way it
the thing. That's the thing. I've watched that too. The limited pro, all the classes really. I mean, you think somebody's really strong, and all of a sudden the next night they're last place.
Yeah.
That's
I can make
where.
anybody look good. I can make anybody look good anytime.
But you made yourself look good too, though.
Well,
Yep.
everybody needs that too. I don't care who they are. And I'll say that, I'm like, oh, down a ship pulling with your boys, and I'm like, it hurt me to get beat by them, but they need that too. And
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. So
Everybody needs one win a year. I
Yeah.
always say that. I want everybody to get a win a year because it just keeps them involved and keeps them wanting to come back and do what be there. Because if you never win,
Yeah.
if you go 5 years without a win, you lose. Your heart's not in it.
everybody's spending all this, I don't want to say stupid money, but it's enough money.
Yeah,
And everybody deserves a bone,
they do.
So,
They do. And it gets you a win like that gets your heart back in it because you can do it then.
Right.
Because if you don't get that, you start doubting yourself in your decisions. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody does.
And it's hard.
But
It's
doing
too much competition all over that's very good that to go out and dominate. It's nowadays that don't really happen no more because just the way things have evolved and luck of the draw and luck of where you go and what gear you run and and some of this for you places that you haven't run, that makes you a better puller when you make wholesale changes like you did and change things and run that low gear that you've never run before and move weight back like that. And, but, if you know your tractor and your truck or whatever, it makes you better. And, you hate to look at, when I pull, I don't look at everybody else's, what they're doing. I just focus on mine. And the more you get in tune with yours, the better you're going to be.
Yep.
There's only one other guy. My son Jacob, he doesn't want to get on it yet. We had a hot farm. You guys know this, but John Meyer Jr. He's the only guy I've ever let. We had a wedding we go to last year, and I let him run it in Millersville, and it just sits different than his. And we had to adjust everything. He's a little bit shorter than I am, it's just sitting on a different tractor, so it's different all the time for it.
Yep. Yep. I've driven other people's tractors too. You get in there and the clutch is different, the throttle's different,
and
seat's
that's
different.
Right.
Yep.
That's good for you too, though, because then it really, you have to tune in. Then you really got to focus on all that. Your mind's got to be clear and you got to focus, because now you got, this is different. So you really got to work at this. It doesn't come as easy as it does jumping on yours. Like yours is like the best pair of shoes you've ever had. You jump on, you're comfortable, you know what you want to do and how you want to roll into it. And when you get on somebody else's, that's a test.
Right. And when you're on somebody else's and is this supposed to be making these noises? I hope so.
Yep.
The best thing about Friday night, standing next to Josh, we had a couple tractors left, and I told him that just be prepared, because ProPolling.tv was there filming. They'd have to do an interview, and he looked at me, and he's like, well, I gotta go change my shirt.
Yeah.
Ryan, it was hot down there. I had a pair of shorts and my loafers on and a cut-off t-shirt, and I was drenched, and I'm like, I can't do an interview like this. And Ryan's like, well, there was one tractor left, and I'm like, if I go back and this jinxes me, I'm like, I'm going to be pissed at you, Ryan. So I jump on my Ranger, I run all the way back to the trailer, I change my shirt, and I'm like, all right. And I'm driving back in this tractor, you could see him coming down the track, and I'm like, I come up to Ryan, and he goes, you're good. And I'm like, but I heard it's this is a big deal for me to do this. I don't like talking. I don't like doing interviews. I don't like doing this, but I'm trying to do it. So.
This is all
conversation.
Right.
That's all. Mike Stefan's on here. He says, have the Bousman been out this year? I think Bousman. Yeah.
First couple of weekends I was ahead of him, but then Mike kicked my ass on Saturday night.
Yeah. Mike was the winner Saturday.
What's that?
Mike was the winner Saturday night?
No, he was ahead of me. But
yeah. They're good guys. They're fun to pull with.
Oh, they had lunch for us that cooked on the back of their trailer. You guys know how it is with Bosmas.
Yeah.
They're good guys. The best part is they're shorthanded too. And I'm like, we were done pulling. I'm like, I pulled Mike back to this trailer after the pull, and actually I had to go get I brought some I brought a trophy home this weekend, so I had to go get that first before Mike could get pulled back to his trailer. But
yeah, you were third overall, I think, right?
Yep.
They kind of did a full cut out, like a front of a semi.
And Jesse Giza was for distance, and he wanted to give a first place for trophy for the Friday night and a Saturday night, and he said they messed it up, so it ended up being the distances, and I ended up being third overall both nights. So.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. It's neat when they do that stuff.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a cool trophy. That's fun to set on the shelf and talk about.
Look good on the bar. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Well, Josh, why don't we talk about what you've done? What you've kind of almost retired, or you're in your retirement mode, moving down, or whatever. Tell us what you did before this. Tell everybody what your business was and what you did.
So I was a union millwright in Milwaukee for 10 years. I went to be an airplane mechanic when I was just out of high school, Black Hawk Tech in Janesville. Graduated out of that. Then moved to Atlanta. I still farm with my dad. And I took a millwright job in Milwaukee and did that for 10 years. And that time we had 2 girls, and at 30, Jacob came along, and he was just born, and I always told my wife Lynn that I was just tired of working for somebody else. Bought a welder and an enclosed trailer, started doing millwright stuff, building grain elevators, working on grain elevators, that kind of stuff, and did it for 18 years. Started out by myself and ended up, we had a fab shop, 4 cranes, worked pretty much all over the country, and had 48 employees, and I sold it last June. And I was not meant to be a businessman, or an HR person, I should say it.
Back then, you didn't have to worry about feelings, did you?
No, and everybody's a little more sensitive now, and I'm a little bit older school, and the guys that I had working for me, I could name off 10 or 15 of them that were the core guys, would do whatever had to be done, but you always had the bottom feeders, it just drove you nuts. And I had the company that I actually started working for 18 years ago wanted to buy my company because I was putting enough pressure on them. And we worked the deal out, and it's been the best thing in my life. Been a lot less stressful, and that's why we're trying to do the Silver Series now. Gives me a little more flexibility, and basically all I do is drive around, lay jobs out, bid jobs, and make sure everybody's good to go. So
as part of the contract, you had to help them out for a little while.
I got 1 more year left, but if they treat me as good as they did the last year, corn prices are so great right now, I don't think I want to
right
take that hit,
Yeah, you don't want to come up. You don't want to go into the real and get rid of your real.
No, I don't. I still got a pulling tractor to pay for, so.
Right. Yeah. 370 corn doesn't look so good now, does it?
Nah, it's good.
And half of it's underwater.
Yeah.
And 3 inches of rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain tonight by us. I don't know what you're getting, but.
Well, we're supposed to get another inch, and I told my wife it really don't matter anymore because the drone was supposed to already drown, and it must be water and other than weeds,
Yep.
What do you do?
I don't know if you've seen Emily's post on her. Emily's wig paddleboarding in our fields, and she can still do it today.
Is it really that bad still up there?
Yeah, well, we're on the Wisconsin River, and it crested not Saturday. What is today? Saturday. Yeah, it crested Saturday, and it hasn't gone down. The water's running the wrong way in our fields.
Yeah.
No,
and driving out to Osceola and Mountain City, you're sitting in the semi and you're looking at everything, and there's stuff that looks good out there, but there's stuff that looks bad. And then all the rivers are right up to the banks. So it's, everybody's in the same boat, and I was made pretty good friends with Chad Russell, and they're in a drought. Everything's supposed to be, everything's burning up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a hard time planting this spring too, right?
Yeah.
When it was wet and then also dried up.
Right.
Where's he from?
Was it Southern Illinois?
Yep.
Southern Illinois.
So yeah. And then our crop report last Friday, right? Where did they find all them bushels of corn all of a sudden? Somebody made money other than a farmer.
Yeah.
I hate talking about that on the show, but that's life. We're all farmers
No,
here, and
that's what most of this people are on here is farmers and the ag industry and everything else. You know, it's not.
yeah, yep.
It's real. So.
But it's the life we deal with, and it's frustrating. And I think it's more frustrating now than it was years ago. But it is what it is, right? That's what I always say.
No, we were spraying beans this afternoon, and I had 5 acres to go and blew a hose on the sprayer. And I'm like, we're supposed to get an inch of rain tomorrow, which whatever. But
Yeah.
it's you know how it is. It's always that one thing. So
Yeah, the boys had their new sprayer up on some side hills I don't know where it was for sure, but they were spraying along and it slid down the hill into the trees and busted the boom. Yeah, the guy driving just said, I just stopped and it kept sliding. You know, but what do you do? They're behind and because of the rain, and you got to get it done. You know, these guys want you to do it, and what do you do?
How many acres you run, Josh?
We're just over 2,000. So
that's a full-time job there too, though, right?
Mm-hmm. And my dad's retired, and he's been farming my whole life. He started farming when I was born, grew up on a dairy farm, and was actually in a dairy buyout. And my mom started working at the post office, and 5 or 8 years later, he's just started working at the post office as a carrier, and he still ran, 1,500 acres then. And so a lot of it was done we called it the night, all the lights had to be working on the equipment because we did it after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
yeah.
Roger Kasherik, I can't believe sand can hold that much water in your fields along Highway 60. Also, Fair Valley Repair and Lower Shop was flooded last weekend.
Yeah, their shop had 4 feet of water in it. The shop below the road. Yeah.
The shop across the road?
Not the newer one, the Quonset hut type shop.
Yeah.
The old one that was there, that's been flooded a couple times before, but they redid the highway there, and the water was supposed to drain better, but it didn't. When it comes down 3 inches an hour, 4 inches an hour, you're screwed. We had 15 inches of rain in the last 2 weeks.
Oof.
Yeah. So.
No place to go.
Yeah, there's water standing on our sand. On the sand, beach sand.
Wow.
And it's going to rain again tonight. We had windrows of hay floating today. We were chopping.
Oh.
Yep. So, yeah, this is the way it is. What it is. But back to pulling here. And your story, Josh, is a great story. Getting out there and you're successful and you moved on. That's got to be a good feeling. That's everybody's goal to get to where you were at there, right?
Yeah.
I really believe it. And you look happier now too than you did 3-4 years ago. I think you do.
Every time I went to go to a poll or something would happen, and there's stresses on it. Everybody's got them. It's just how you deal with them.
Yep.
My dad didn't poll. We went to him all the time. I didn't start polling until I bought a altered farm, which I told my wife this would be perfect. We won't have to ever do anything to it. In 2018, and
you lied.
Badger State always pulled at Walworth County Fair and had the hot farm class there. So we opened the RPM up on it, and I had to put a roll cage on it. We had a fab shop, we could do that, and made it legal for Badger State that night. And Walworth County Fair's pretty much the last hook. It's Labor Day weekend, and ended up 9th place out of the 24, whatever there was that night. I was dumb enough, I can't remember how many it was, but I was just excited the thing didn't blow up in front of everybody that I knew. And after that poll, I'm like, there's no way I'm going limited RPM. I wanted to be a hot farm guy, and went to John Meyer Jr. that winter, and he built me a motor. We were down at the Shipshewana. We bought a chassis for it and put that tractor together, and John Meyer Jr. made it happen. We had the motor finished up just before our first hook. I think that year was in Deerfield, and I pulled that tractor 2019, was rookie of the year. And then ran it a couple years, and then Jacob, my son, was turning 16, so I knew he could run that one, and we built this limited pro because I wanted to be able to go to Toma, some of the bigger poles, and that's how this whole thing started. So.
I'm going to tell you, your tractor's one of the nicer looking tractors in the club, and it's always clean and sharp and straight, and it looks nice. You do a good job.
I would disagree with you because last summer I had a big old dent in the hood.
Yeah, that happens.
And I actually fixed that this winter, and I blew a turbo, and there's 3 dings in it now.
Well, I've got a ding in my hood too.
I should have just put a big Band-Aid over it and left it alone, you know?
Yep.
Put a Badger State sticker on it right there, and then just leave it. Now don't paint it next one.
Right.
Just put a big cannon hole there.
Yeah.
So
Character.
that's fun though. Everybody's got them problems, right?
Well, we were down in the second night down in Osceola. Their Hellraiser blew a turbo, you know, and I'm behind them, and I'm thinking, I know that sucks, and you're just hoping it ain't you, because Greg, has it ever happened to you, Greg?
Yeah. One time.
So the last one was at the farm show, you know.
Yeah.
And you just never know.
Yeah, my hood has still got a big crack in it. So
just leave it. I'm telling you from experience, just leave it cracked.
I am for now. We're redoing the hood next winter, but the safety stuff does help. If you get it all on there, I think the only thing we can't control is the compressor wheel coming out. Right?
Well, I was parked next to the Cummins Killer.
Yep.
Down in Osceola, and they had a screen over the front of their turbo.
Yep.
Which is I always told, the first time I ever blew a turbo was Highland with the Hot Farm. And in the video, if you slow it down, you can see the compressor wheel come out, which of the front, the grill, and hit the dirt, and then it bounced up, went 300 yards out in the crowd, and I got it back from a kid. And I'm like, thank God that didn't hit anybody. But then after that, I put a screen in front of the grill so it can't get out.
Yep. Go
ahead.
I would say, I don't know if you watch the European rules for their turbos. You know, they have a better rule than we do. They have a screen in front of them, and it's mandatory, and it doesn't hurt their performance. I think we need to go to that. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah. No, not one of us wants to hurt anybody.
No.
Yep. Not one of us. No. Not one of us is going out there with the attitude that I don't care if it flies out. It's their fault if they're standing there. Nobody has that attitude. Nobody has. Not one person I know has that attitude.
You know, and last summer we were down John Meyer Jr. and I went down to Nashville the first hook, and the second night I blew a turbo on the Limited Pro, and they're pulling me off, and Christy comes up and wants to see I know more than got my fire suit off, and she was right there, wanted to see my blanket, and I'm like, what'd I do wrong? She goes, you didn't do nothing wrong. She goes, I just wanted to take pictures for the insurance company that shows, everything was contained there. It's just the explosion from the blanket put a dent in my hood, you know.
Yep.
So it's all, I don't have no problem with the safety part of it.
Yep. Because everybody's got to do it.
Mhm.
It isn't like you're the only guy doing it and it's going to hurt your performance.
Right.
If it does hurt your performance, it hurts
Right.
everybody's.
Right.
Yep. So and you do not want to be that guy that had something happen. You know, we all
Right.
think, everybody in the back of our minds, we're all thinking of that guy in Pennsylvania, but he had everything right.
Right.
There was nothing wrong with his tractor. He had everything to the rules. You know, it just happened. You know, so and it isn't. You know, it doesn't even, what happened wasn't as bad as what everybody thinks. So, you know, but it's a sport. It will evolve. Safety rules will evolve, right?
Exactly.
Yep. And they should. And they should. They should.
Well, and we're not the only one who's being watched. You know, it's, you know, drag cars and everything.
Yep.
It's all gets pushed to the limits. You know.
Right. Everybody's technology has gotten so advanced in this stuff, you know, and everybody's making that last 25 horse, you know, and they're pushing it to the limit. You know, I don't know. The safety stuff we have to get the catch can in the front. We do. We have to get something in the front of the turbo. We do. You know, like in Louisville, thank God mine hit the intercooler and didn't go out the hood. It bounced around in there and wrecked everything.
Right.
But it didn't get out into the crowd. I'm so glad of that. And you know, and I didn't even, sitting in the seat, I didn't even know what happened. I thought I broke a crank the way it sounded, you know, but because it was hammering and then all of a sudden it quieted down, the tractor sitting there still idling. I thought it killed the tractor, you know, I don't know. It is what it is, right?
No.
When you blew yours, did you see it go or did you know it? Or?
The funniest thing is it happened and, you know, pull the kill as quick as you can, which, you know how seconds are. Yeah. And sitting on the tractor, I'm like, oh, nothing's wrong. Didn't hurt nothing. Because the exhaust stack is coming through the hood. I couldn't see the dent. And I got off the tractor and walked around the back end and come around the front. And I'm like, there's this big dent in there. I'm like, oh, that's not, darn it. You know, there's nothing worse than blowing a turbo because there's $8,000. And then now you got sheet metal wreck too, which.
Right.
So
right.
All summer, the rest of the summer, I didn't bother me when I was sitting on the tractor, but you look at it sitting in the shop, there's a big ding in it. You couldn't see it when you were actually pulling it, which.
That's a war wound.
Right.
Right. So, you know, like John, on your mini rods, do they, you know, you're just sitting out in the open there. Is there anything that can happen to them?
No, they're shielded. So the shielding and then the straps and the drive shaft shield. And then, you know, there's limitations of how thick they are. But like the ones on mine, I left a 1/2 inch thick. It's heavier. I don't really care. And we broke that billet coupler on the rear end before. I don't know how, but we broke it. And it stayed all contained in there. And it didn't come out of there. And that sits directly below the seat. You sit right on top of it. So safety shields work, you know. And then, of course, the clutch cams SFI rated and shielding for the blower belt and straps for the blower. And, our roll cage is a spec roll cage. And, you know, our chassis used to run on a Grand National circuit anyway, but then we built the spec cage for it. And, you know, if that thing goes on its lid, I want to go to work on Monday. You know, pop me on the belts and drag me out of there, whatever. But you know, everything can be replaced. Just, you know, can't replace our safety, you know, doing that, of course. But yeah, and the side shields. So actually, you know, like ours for the side shields for the motor, you're supposed to come up to the bottom of the headers. And I actually got an inner side shield down below in the frame rail in case, you know, the rods ever come out of it. So there's an extra side shield there. And then I had Craig Wildman make frame rail covers for mine too. So there's covers on there too. So anything comes out of mine, good luck, you know. But yeah, you can never be too safe with stuff, but make sure you got all good stuff on it.
Right. So,
well, there was a pretty good ride in Toma, wasn't there, John? Who's
yeah. That was Mike Evans, a friend of mine. Yeah, he used to pull in our class, and he built a brand new tractor and put a Hemi in it, twin turbocharged Hemi, and that one got away from him. Yeah. I don't know if I didn't talk to him yet, but by the way the video looks, it come up and it started going to the left. I think he rubbed the brake. When he rubbed the brake, and the tires turned just enough that it come down, and it just, threw it. So
Right.
it doesn't take much. Not much at all.
He was all right, though, right?
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, and like the little wheels, guys kind of give everybody a little brief little wheel. I got that little wheel on mine, but the nice part about that little wheel, when you drive, you put your hand in the center, and you keep it there. So then when you turn, you only go, this much, which is only like an eighth click on the tire. So, it's hard to get rid of the natural habit of driving, as long as you're not palming it. You hang on to it dead center, and you just turn it. That's all the further you're going to turn it. So
Right.
Right. I watched the wheel in the front, and I watched because I can't see. You can't see around this pipe that well. You have to look down the side of the hood, and you watch your wheels. You might want them to turn a little bit when it touches and straighten you out, But you watch that, and it's like two-wheel drive trucks. They can't see anything that people don't. If you watch, they have plexiglass under the hood so they can see where they're driving when the front end's in the air. And people always ask why they have plexiglass in there. Well, you got to be able to see where you're going when the front end gets in there too. Watching that'd be weird to get used to, right?
that's weird.
Looking under the hood.
I always do, like with ours, is I try to pick something out. So if I know I want to be left of center, so I back in there, I'm getting backed in there. I look for like a tree or a pole or some marker, so that when the front end comes up, the only way you look is look around the side of the blower. So you just kind of keep yourself eyed up to whatever your marker is, and then
That's your goal.
second later you're there.
Yep.
That's what I always do.
Is that what you do? You do that too, Josh, right? You pick. Yeah, I want to hit the L in welcome at the barrels or something.
I can never pick it out. I never end up there.
No, but that's your goal.
I always got Ryan goes, you should have been over here. That's where you should have been, over there. That's all. Thanks, Ryan.
Yep. Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
A guy should go talk to the guys at the end of the track because they watch the whole thing. But you can't. It just doesn't work. You can't do that.
When I announce, I always announce like I'm gonna drive or something, because I'm always reading it, looking at it, and I'm up there watching everything unfold. So I don't know. I know Warren Lufbro the one day was listening, and then when he got done, he come back over there and he said, "Thanks for the tip."
Yep.
Not always, but I watch every class, watch it unfold, and you guys know that too. You watch some, but then you got to go back, get ready. So you miss a bunch of it, getting it up there, getting ready to go. And if you're not first hook or something, you're lucky enough you can see a couple of your competitors. That may change your mind a little bit, but you don't get to see every pass like I do when I'm announcing.
Right. I always figured 3. It takes 3 pullers ahead of me to watch the track. So if you're third hook, you're really not watching the track. And because you're trying to get everything else ready,
Yep. And if the first guy goes and does all right, nobody wants to try anything different, right? Because you don't want, it's tough. And I always try something different, but I'm not a good puller. I just do what I think, so especially at the end of the class when there's nothing left.
No,
You're not going to believe this, Josh, but one night he asked Stacy and I where he should go. So we told him. And we set the cone. He had the world's best hole shot in the world. But do you think he finished where we told him to? Oh, no. And then whose fault was it when he got back?
Well, you didn't tell me where to finish. You just said where to start.
So down,
I was on my own after 2 feet.
So down in Osceola, it was Mike Etner was driving the second night, and it was Rich's birthday, so he was in no condition to spot the cone. Or wasn't going to be there, and Mike's like, "Can you spot my cone for me?" And I'm like, man, I don't like the pressure of this. And spotted the cone, and I'm like, I jumped on the tractor, told him which way to go, where he should end up, and he ended up taking first place. And I'm like, I was happy with that, and I'd just like to see guys do good, and the camaraderie with the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's fun.
There's days you wish everybody could get a win that night, right?
Yeah.
There is.
Well, and I went to bed on Friday night, or I should say late Saturday morning, and you think it's going to be the same thing the next night. It's not. It's
nope. Different gear, different weights.
Yeah.
Drier track, wetter track.
Yeah. And they're all the same. All the tractors are the same. They're all competitive. As you run with Coots or John Meyer Jr. or Adam Stevens is coming on strong, and did I say Gallitz is both?
Yep. Gallitz are tough.
And they're all tough. I don't care.
Gerlach's on fire. Mike Gerlach's on fire.
I'm missing guys, but they're all tough. There's no one you can look at and says,
"Yep,
oh, I don't have to worry about this guy."
Yep.
And Linehan, I got beaten by her, many times.
We all have.
And you're like, dang it. But that's pulling.
Yep.
Both, all 3 weekends down in Missouri, I've been pulling, and I'm like, you didn't finish the way you want. And, but I drove it on a trailer at night, checked it out the next morning, the screen was clean, add fuel, add water, we're ready to go again,
Yep.
Jamie what it is. Wants to know, what is the next on your schedule, Josh?
Actually, we're gonna put my pulling tractor on a trailer and take it through the Sharon 4th of July parade with a couple banners for the Edgerton pole for Badger State, and then we're gonna be at that one, and we'll see how that one goes. So I still want to hit the Badger State hooks.
Is there any conflicting hooks do you have for?
It does get conflicting. I think Silver Series is like July 20th, then it starts getting conflicting. So.
Yep. And then you have to choose where you're at and points in each place and
right.
Yeah. That's what everybody does. That does that. Yep.
Well, thank you all.
Huh?
Amy Stevens put very nice. Thank you all.
Yeah.
I mean, you like seeing everybody, and good people to hang around with, same values. And my middle daughter, or both my daughters, showed steers all the way growing up through 4-H and FFA, and Maggie, my middle daughter, actually won a steer show at State Fair, and Maggie always says that going to tractor pulls is just like showing steers, because you go to a steer show and they do it all summer long, all winter long, and it's the same people, and they're good people, but it's the same. Everybody's always got the fancy stuff. Everybody loads everything up, takes everything there, and it's a lot like tractor pulling, and I kind of like that myself.
Very, very competitive.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Everything is.
You can go spend, what's a pro stock, Greg? $1.5 million on a pro stock and still lose. I don't care.
Yeah.
In order to be a successful, whatever, I don't care what it is, stocker racing, cattle showing, tractor pulling,
right,
pulling, drag racing, you got to eat, sleep, and breathe it, And then the other part of it is champions don't come to an event to take it all. They come to give it all.
Right.
They give it their all.
Right.
And that's how you get to be successful,
And my whole thing is the sportsmanship of it. If you can't get first place and get last place, then and be respectful about it. You know,
Yeah.
I always try to go, when I get beat, congratulate the guy that got first place, or, you know, nice job tonight. You know, I joke about it when everybody's lining up. Let's go out there, have fun. Let's try not to blow anything up, you know?
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
is.
Everybody's goal is to put it back in the trailer in good
Right.
shape.
Right.
Yep. And you always feel, I always feel terrible when somebody has a bad run and breaks something. It just, nobody has the time or, the money to just fix it again. Right. The time is the terrible thing. Everybody thinks it's about the dollars, but it's the time to do it.
Right.
Get it.
I got to give a lot of credit to John Meyer Jr. He's helped me a lot, and very good competitor of mine, John Coots. And the first year I had my limited pro, he goes, "What are you doing?" And you need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm like, he's actually giving you pointers, and he wants you to be competitive. And that year we were actually close in points. We went to just over the Illinois border, Warren, Illinois, and I was adjusting my clutch up because it was right there on the track or before the pole, and I had it too tight and couldn't get it out of it, and that was the pole that I screwed up on. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He yells at you, and he ended up first that year, and I was second. And he's a good friend of mine. We joke around all the time. It's good stuff.
Yep. It is.
Right. There you go. There's another on here. Thomas writes on here, says, John or Greg, Chris Feller had mentioned Edgerton as a possible debut for his heavy metal tractor. Any insight into this?
It's not going to be there.
Nope.
It's not coming out.
It won't be there.
Will it?
I went to that Brewer game with Chris Friday night. And his motor's ready to go with the dyno, but I know the tractor's at Wildman's shop there. He finally took it there to get the sheet metal done on it. But he's close. I really think it'll get out this year. I really do. I hope so for him. He's been working hard on it and doing a lot of stuff. But the motor, like I said, is ready to dyno, and the sheet metal is close. Craig's working on it day and night, I think, right now. So we'll see. But it will not be in Edgerton, I'm sure of that. It might be like a month yet. So, but we had a good time at the Brewer game with Chris. He's got front row seats. I was sitting right next to front row Amy. So it was fun. Yeah, he's got right behind home plate. He's got 4 seats there. Wow. Jared Fredericks is a big Cubs fan. He was there too. And then they have a suite upstairs too. We switched every 3 innings, and Jared was down there the first 3 innings, and he came up, and we were the next 3 or 4 to go down. And I said, Jared, you got to get up here. We were down 2 runs, and Jared says, "You're jinxing us. You got to get out of here." We went down, sat down, bases were loaded, and the Brewers hit a home run, grand slam, and had 4 runs, and they won the game after that. And it was fun giving Jared a little grief about that. Jared and I go back and forth because he's a Bears fan and Cubs fan, and I'm a Brewers fan and a Packer fan. So we have fun with him. He's a good competitor too. That's another tractor you can't count on.
He's had run a tough luck too.
Yeah. They've made 3 pulls and put the motor together 3 times.
Yeah, that's
no good.
And the transmission one time. 1 week it was the transmission and motor, I think, right?
Well, it'll be an Edgerton. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, he had Snapchat yesterday. It was out again, so ready running. So, yep. Yeah, but what do you got left for Josh yet, John? Got any questions yet?
So
our standard questions, right? You can go through them.
Yeah. So I gotta ask this one because we always ask this one. We kind of robbed this from another group, but if you had a chance to drive another pulling vehicle, whatever it may be, truck, mod, tractor, what would it be, and whose would it be, and where would it be?
man.
Got him on the spot now, right against the ropes.
And I feel bad because I knew this question was coming. I'd like to get on a Tinker Toy and at the Farm Machinery Show.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That
That is that's an automatic win.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. How much easier can it get?
Yeah.
yeah. Be a fun ride.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite pulls you love to go to? You know this pull's coming, and gosh, I just love going here. Which one is it?
I love Baraboo, Darlington, Monroe. Highland is one of our favorite ones. And Toma. Toma's good. It was hard this year going out for Mountain City and not going to Toma, just because that's what I've been working for all this time, and Myers were up there and Coots's were up there, and here Lynn and I are in Mountain City, and I'm like, there's good things in there, it's now that I've been to Mountain City, it's a great pull. If it wasn't, it's fun,
I was gonna say I've heard nothing but good things about Mountain City. So,
yeah.
Chris Waggle he runs that one, right?
Yeah.
He does a good job there. Yeah, he's a puller, so he knows what needs to be done.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool when you go to the sign up and they're like, "What are you doing all the way out here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just come here to pull. Shouldn't you be in Toma?" And I'm like, I thought I'd drive 8.5 hours to see what I could do out here.
Instead of 4 or 3 hours up to Toma, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what the coolest thing is, and the people you meet, they're all nice. It's makes them
that Missouri. Yeah, that Missouri bunch is a fun bunch to pull with, though.
Yeah.
They are. So they must have had their children's hospital benefit last weekend, right? Because it was going to be a week after ours, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how that went for them, because we have a bet going on there. I forgot about that.
Did you?
Yeah, we do.
Raise more?
Who raised the biggest percentage more? Well, we had a lot bigger percentage. I mean, our numbers are bigger, so the percentage is bigger. I don't know if we're going to get them this year. So,
right.
Yeah.
The good though.
Yeah, we did good on the Calcutta. It was $70,000, I think, for the Calcutta. Just for that. That was pretty good. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what you raise at the banquet.
Yeah.
Because last year was a record year, I believe.
Yep. I think we broke the record 5 years in a row from the previous year. Right. I think we really have. 164 last.
Yeah, we get our auctioneer fired up, Stacy Butson, man. The numbers just roll when he's up there.
Yep. So we had a good auctioneer. I forget his name. Tripp got him, and I forget the guy's name, but he did a good job at the benefit poll. I'm sorry I forgot his name, but he did a great job. So, with it. So, well, that helps. But also, one of the questions, your favorite sled to pull too, though, Josh.
Well, the one I had Friday night, I'll take that one after me every week. That Green Bauer sled, but that don't happen all the time either.
So, they're hard to get.
No, I know, and it's funny how everybody says, "Oh, I never believed it," but you can honestly say that different sleds pull different, And
They do.
And it's I guess I don't have a Fuel Ironman. He's a good sled.
Yep.
Fritz is doing a good job with that.
Yep. People don't believe you have to gear your tractor and weight your tractor for the sled. Do you have to take that into consideration as much as you do the track?
Right.
Because they don't all pull the same.
Yeah, and some are easier, and some catch it quicker on the other end, or so. Yeah, it's a game of chess.
Right. And being in a limited pro, you're not used to pulling the silver series right now. We're not the top guys. You got the champion series guys that they're not going to pull that class first, so
No.
now you're the guinea pig.
Yeah.
And on it, it's all different too, because that track changes a lot with 3 classes that pull over it. Where you get in Badger State, you get a hot farm class, you get a pro farm class, and then all right, now we got limited pros, and then we're gonna pull light pros, and then super or pro stocks. Well, that track changes a lot. It gets broke in.
Yeah.
But it's also good. You pull early, then you get time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to warn you, you're going to be an early class in Edgerton
That's
because
okay.
Nick's getting married.
That's fine.
Oh, shit. Something happened to my voice. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
I can. A little bit. Something happened here.
Yeah, it's got an echo in it now. So. But we're getting right tight to our deadline anyway. But any last thoughts for the rest of the summer? Hope you do well, Josh, and keep the
Just
streak
keep
rolling.
plugging away. Keep plugging away at it. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing you as always, and it's always nice to catch up with you when we get a chance. So.
No, we'll see you the 6th.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors from Front Street Toys, Casper Ag, Slama Enterprises, and also Trip Downing to help us out here with the Down and Dirty Show. And thanks for coming on. I know nobody likes to sit and be interviewed and chat with us, but this is just a roundtable discussion amongst friends. So welcome anytime. Thanks for coming on with us.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
You bet.
Thank
So
you,
we'll
Josh.
see you this weekend in Edgerton. The 6th starts at 3 o'clock, I do believe. Great show on tap. Looks like the weather's going to be good. So see everybody down in Edgerton and stop up and say hi. So we got 10 Pro, 95 Limited Pro, Hot Farm, Super Farm, Pro Stock Diesel Trucks, and the Light Limited Super Stocks starting at 3 o'clock. They are opening early, having some classes before us starting at noon. So if you want to get a good seat early, come down there early. Noon, I think they're starting the other classes. So stop in there and support them as well. So we'll see you all there. Everybody have a good night. Thanks again, Josh.
Thank you, guys. I don't know if you
Thank
can hear
you.
me yet, but thank you much.
All right. Good night, everybody.